Well, everywhere we go and talk about simple cremation, people are always very interested in it, curious, and some are skeptical. And I think that's because it's so kind of new and so understandably they're a little skeptical. But can you give us some of the questions people ask when they first contact simple cremation or they want to know more?
Well, sometimes families, this is the first time they're even, first of all, considering cremation, let alone an online cremation service. So I always get the questions about pricing, how does it work, what makes us different, and I explain to them that we're partnered with 14 funeral homes throughout New Jersey, all family owned and operated. The owner of the company, the founder of Simple Cremation, is Bradley Funeral Homes. And so that's reassuring to them, and they like that reassurance. They like the aspect that they're all family owned and operated funeral homes. And as far as the pricing, sometimes I have families say, well, I called around and I found pricing that was a little bit lower somewhere else. And I encourage families to call around, reach out. But our website is so transparent with pricing that everything that they select, there's a running tally of the pricing. So I encourage them. I go, but make sure, our pricing includes everything. When you're shopping around, make sure you're comparing that other providers are including everything that we're including.
So give me a couple of examples or a few examples of what we show as very transparent that other funeral service providers may not be so transparent about, which would then add on to the cost and be actually quite more expensive than
Well, every funeral home or every online cremation service, every funeral home has basic service price. So ours is $1,080. That's our basic services. That includes the transportation into our care, transportation to the crematory, the sanitary care, all the behind the scenes. And on top of that, which this is what the other providers do not tell families when they're calling, is there's the crematory fee, there's the death certificates, there's the container that the deceased needs to be placed in for the cremation.
Just container, let's be real clear about that. So a lot of people think of it as an urn.
No, it's an
You
alternative.
think of it more like a casket, but very, very simple.
It's a cremation casket.
We use cardboard, we use jute, we use other materials, but it's the thing that surrounds the person, and the person is cremated in that.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Yep. So a lot of times the other providers do not include that information when they're giving a price to a family.
Transportation. Most funeral homes charge after 20 miles.
Per mile, yes.
But we cover the whole state for one.
No additional charge.
No
it's all
additional charge.
included.
Two people. Many times a transfer where someone died, you need two people. We make that very clear in the beginning. A lot of people don't, and that can really add to the cost.
Yep, it's very clear on our website. If an additional transfer person is needed, it's calculated into the total there.
So, folks, beware when you are asking about cremation service prices that you get all your information. Peggy will give you all the information up front and verify everything that you've chosen online. So it makes it very easy, very transparent, and for the most part, inexpensive compared to other cremation services. Speaking of cremation, over 50% of families in New Jersey are now choosing cremation. And about half of those families are choosing direct cremation. What is direct cremation? Direct cremation is when we bring a deceased into our care from the place they died. We hold them for the legal amount of time, at least 24 hours. And you do all the work of getting the vital statistics, getting doctors to sign death certificates, getting permits for the cremation, and then we can go to the crematory. That pretty much covers the breadth of direct cremation. I hear from a lot of families that they feel that they are treated with less care and compassion when they choose this kind of service. I don't think that's the case with us.
Definitely not.
Definitely not with you. I said, tell the folks out there how you provide warmth and compassion, even though they're with us for kind of not that much time.
Yeah, I try to contact the family many times throughout the process, and I treat every family the way I would want to be treated if it was my loved one. From being brought into our care, I notify the family that your loved one is in our care. I update them, I received your cremation authorization signed. I'm still working on the doctor to get the death certificate certified. So I update them every step of the way. Just like they were coming into the funeral home, there's multiple contacts throughout the process.
Right. As a psychotherapist, I think the idea of this attachment, being connected, is really important. So that kind of number of phone calls, compared to, say, other funeral homes, what kind of phone calls would you make that they may not hear from, say, other funeral homes?
Just where we stand in the process. I like to update the families, whether it be phone, email, and again, I take that lead from them, how they prefer to be contacted, and families really love it. Part of the process with cremation is if the decedent passed in a hospital, we need to do an identification. Since there was no family present when we brought their loved one into our care, I always call families before I send that photo and just let them know, this is what we're doing. And I've already explained it to them, but I just reassure them that I'm getting ready to send it now. Is it a good time? Right. Are you somewhere where you could receive and take care of this identification process? Right.
Very good. I think the number of phone calls is important. I know after a transfer is made, persons in our care, we call the family. There's any kinds of problems, we call them right away. We kind of let them, we have them follow us through the process too. If we get cremated remains back, they get a phone call. When we have the certified copies of the death certificate, we have a phone call.
Yes.
Speaking of certified copies and the urn, how do they get back to the families?
Well, that's during the registration process. That's one of the things that they choose. Do they want to pick up the death certificates and cremated remains at one of our funeral homes, which we have pickups at 3 funeral homes. It's either Chatham, Union, or Pennsauken, or we can mail them via U.S. Postal Service.
Yeah,
which is the only way to mail cremated remains legally. So that's the way we do it, and it's packaged up according to the guidelines that's put, out by the U.S. Postal Service.
In your experience, is that pretty safe and secure?
Very safe.
Very safe. Have we ever lost any cremated remains?
No.
And we send a lot of them.
We send many.
It's very safe. It is the only option.
Yes.
And we do send the vast majority of cremated remains to families through the mail.
Yes.
Okay. I think grief and mourning has altered in our culture. And the need for witness and ceremony and community has become less valued to some people. It's actually the reason I started Simple Cremation. Can you walk us through how Simple Cremation serves those who don't want a lot of fanfare when a death occurs? Why is it the best choice?
Because they're setting the expectations to what they want. They're telling me when they register and during our phone calls, this is what I want. I don't want to see my loved one again. I don't want to have any services prior to the cremation. And so they're letting me know exactly what they want. They're choosing what they want. That's the most important thing. We're following their lead.
Yeah. Do you think that the majority of these folks that call us, I would say the vast majority, they have in their mind sort of the itinerary, what they expect and what they don't want with a final disposition of their loved one.
Yes.
They want cremation. They don't want a lot of fanfare. Do you think simple cremation ticks off the boxes for what they expect and what they don't want?
Yes.
Yeah. We're getting it right.
Yep, definitely. The new shopping cart, the new website is right on.
Mm. That's good to hear. That was the goal.
We got there.
It's good. It's taken a while.